Hey guys, welcome. I'm going to do a three-part video here, video series. First part, what I'm going to do is go over the characteristics of the AR-15, how the facts by the media have been used to misconstrue. They have been misconstrued. The true operating characteristics of it and how it's come about, and why assault weapons should be legal, things like that. Part 2 is going to be basically about what I suggest as far as some kind of measurement in order to correct and deter and prevent these massacre kind of situations from happening again. And part 3 is going to be a little bit about what maybe we should start looking into a little bit, and how it's going to affect the law-abiding citizens, and how it's going to affect our gun industry, things like that. So I want you guys to be watching these videos with a open heart and mind. You should all be open to change. If we're wrong, we should all be open to change. If you are uninformed on, if you've never been around firearms, find them to be scary. I understand. Many parts, mostly city areas, guns are not, a mainstay. I mean, you don't see them around as much. Not as common for people to have them. Things like that. And I try to understand everybody else's point of view. I'm trying to show you mine and the rest of pretty much the law-abiding gun owners out there. This is for people that are on the fence about assault weapons, and there's a lot of people out there that are just crazy, that they think we should have no guns at all. I'm not going to even try to speak to you, because you probably already have some sort of idea in your mind, and you're going with that, and you're not open to change, or looking at it a different way, right? So anyways, we'll start rolling here with part 1. So what is the AR-15? Where did it come from? What's the M16 and what is the M4? What is an assault weapon, and what is an assault rifle? What's the difference? Okay, well, let's start off with the assault weapons thing. Assault weapon is a term that's been used in replacement of the assault rifle, right? The assault rifle is basically a military rifle, which was designed for full auto or select fire, which is, say, a semi-automatic, or burst fire, 3-round burst, things like that. Okay, so assault rifles are illegal to the standard civilian, right? You can get assault rifle licenses. You have to go through very thorough background checks, and there's many things, fees associated with that. We're talking about what the general public is has their hands on. That's the assault weapon, which is basically something that looks scary, that has higher capacity, and is a semi-automatic. I'll kind of show you through this video how assault weapon isn't some sort of crazy killing machine, that's some just world-class wrecking death machine, right? And let's go into the M16 and M4. The M16 was the rifle that came out during Vietnam to replace the M14. The whole idea with the M16 was that a soldier could carry twice as much ammo for the same weight. It's a smaller round, so it would shoot more accurate under full auto situations, because I'll show you here, this is a 30-06 used in the World War II M1 Garand. and many hunting rifles alike. A 308 round is pretty close to this. This is the 223 or 5.56 by 45, also referred as, which is used in the AR-15, M16, and M4. There's a front view. The 223 is much smaller than the 30-06. 30 caliber refers to anything that is, if you look at the decimal point, they go in, threes. So if it's that 3 range, it's that general area of 30 caliber. 30 caliber rounds is what we've been using pretty much since the actual rifle. After muskets and whatnot used in this country, primarily since World War I, and they were replaced by the small round. The whole purpose of this is a round like this is much more effective, okay, against a person and in war situations, because this has a significant punch and what we call stopping power. This can go through smaller trees and barriers, brush, stuff like that, and it's going to excuse me, and it's going to have that effectiveness after it goes through that to kill an enemy or whatnot, right? 223 does not. I mean, it's, if it hits, most, they do make steel penetrating, rounds that are for a quarter inch thick. However, for the most part, this round is, very ineffective in comparison to that 30-06. Very straight shooting round, smaller round. So it doesn't kick. It doesn't, when a person shoots, it doesn't knock their shoulder back as much, right? And that's how we're getting into the whole purpose of the M16 and how it came about, right? You take this big round, a very effective round, you can't shoot that full auto comfortably and accurately. They're using machine guns, but machine guns are heavy, where usually they're at a rest, and they're supported in a certain way, and that person's shoulder isn't taking all that abuse, and that can help them maintain that accuracy. Although when machine guns are used, they're generally only used to keep soldiers down, or to take out large numbers of advancing forces, I guess, too. This 223, the whole idea is that they could put it in a full auto package, so being that it doesn't kick much, very barely does this round even kick. So a guy could shoot 900 rounds a minute, which is roughly what the M16 or M4 cycles at. So he could shoot those 900 rounds and stay on target, quick, fast, target changes, and very accurate, quick shooting, right? So back to the M16, M4, and AR-15. What are they? What's the difference, right? M16 is the full auto or burst fire, along with the M4. M4 is basically the same thing, except a shorter version of the same gun. The M4 is just M4 carbine, you'll hear it called. It's a shorter barreled version of the M16, but it's a little bit lighter, maybe. Same operating principles. The AR-15, on the other hand, is the civilian version. This is only semi-automatic. You do not have the option for full auto. So one pull of the trigger equals one bullet, right? Okay, so still there's got to be something. It's designed for killing, right? It's designed for causing death. Guys, hello. That's what guns are for. They're for death. I mean, in one way or another, hunting or whatnot. Guys, people want military rifles for a reason. It's the same reason that people want, race-tested cars. Car enthusiasts, they want a car that can do 200 on the Nuremberg ring, because they might never get over 100, and United States here, but they want to know that that car, it's got that capability, it's got that speed, and they want that race-proven design. They want something that's not going to break on them all the time. They want, they just want that better design, right? And it's the exact same thing with a gun. If a gun is even, passes the military standards, right there, I mean, that's a big feather in the cap, so to speak, for that weapon, right? Because the military has, very stringent standards. So, people, since wars happened, they've always wanted those military rifles, because not only do they eventually become collectible, and yes, guys, guns are investments too, just like cars, Harley Davidson, what have you. But so anyways, people want those war, military, battle tested kind of guns. And excuse me 1 second, I have to blow my nose. Sorry about that. I apologize. So back into it. Basically, people, they want that battle tested design, and it makes sense. Now I'm going to show you an M1 Garand, the standard infantry rifle during World War II. So stand by.
Come with me if you want to live.
So here she is. Pretty much the reason we're not speaking German in the United States here. Very revered gun. Basically a huge advantage during the time. Yes, they had machine guns during World War II, but the standard infantry rifle was bolt action style. So that means that every time the trigger was pulled, the soldier had to basically ratchet a bolt back, which would eject the spent shell, push it back forward, which would put the next round in. And many, the guns had a limited internal capacity. So, say like a Mosin Nagant Russian rifle, it was a 5-round, right? So, basically, they would come in a clip like this and put it down in the rifle, and obviously there would be one more round, and he would, have to basically take his eye off of the target, ratchet his bolt back, lock it forward, and then find his target again, and then pull the trigger. So much longer in between shots. M1 coming. Wow, sorry about that. Talking faster than my mind thinks. It's kind of scary stuff. So in comes the M1 Garand, right? Semi-automatic. Right. Now, just so you know, all my guns here are cleared. I should have told you that before I even start waving the gun around. But all the guns that I will show you in my presentations are free and clear. Not free for the taking. Here is the clip that an M1 Garand would use. 8 rounds of 30-06. He would take his clip, shove it down in. 8 rounds. After he shoved it in, he would allow the bolt forward like that. Don't get your fingers in there, people. He could one pull of the trigger, round was out, next round was in. He could keep his eye on target, keep shooting until his 8 rounds were up. After that last round was up, bolt would lock to the rear. This distinct ping would happen via this metal clip ejecting. He would get his next clip, shove it down in, allow the bolt forward, and he's back firing again. Okay, you see the advantage? Instead of manual loading five rounds, throwing away that clip also, and then having to take his eye off target for each round, right? Huge advantage over the standard infantry rifle. Okay, so pretty much no one has an issue with this except for the crazies out there that don't think we, need to have guns. Period. I think the cops, the military, are going to save us from everything. Hello, the average response time with a police officer is 23 minutes. You'll already be, robbed, dead, what have you. By the time that cop gets there, he'll be there to try to set up a crime scene or something. But so you got to defend yourself. Anyways, back to the operating characteristics of an AR-15. Okay, you see this. One pull of the trigger equals one bullet coming out. After your capacity, your 8 rounds is spent, you go on to your next clip, right? Okay, so that's the M1 Garand World War II rifle. We'll go on to the AR-15. Okay, again, this gun is cleared. Okay. I guess before I touch on this, the M1 Garand was huge after World War II, along with the 1903 Springfield used as a sniper rifle, along with the German 98K, the proven Mauser action, the Russian Mosin-Nagant rifle. They had huge stockpiles of these guns because they were produced, high numbers, so they were relatively cheap, and people wanted them because they were battle tested, proven. You have that kind of, like as just a normal civilian that never saw the war. You could pick up an M1 Garand and you could feel that connection with, the heroes that stormed the beaches of Normandy. That sort of thing. It's patriotic, and if you've shot guns before, you'll understand. And guys, I don't think I really touched on this yet, but if you've never shot a gun, please, I ask you to, talk to a friend, go shooting, try a safety course, that kind of thing. Because let's face it, if you're making, any kind of opinion that's going to enable any kind of legislation that's going to affect so many people that actually, actually do own these kind of guns or any gun, period, you're affecting those people. You should be informed what you're talking about. You should just be informed on any subject that you have any kind of input on, okay? It's just, the way things should be done, right? So, so anyways, into the AR-15. Just like the M1 Garand and all those, World War II rifles, people wanted this. Now, this is not the M16 or an M4. I will show you this now. Okay, my bolt is to the rear, just like, I had on the M1 Garand. Here's an empty magazine. I put my magazine in. There is, it's called a bolt catch. Right there, okay? When I depress that lever, so you will see, the bolt slides forward. That would insert the first round into the chamber. As long as my safety's off, I can shoot 1 round per pull of the trigger. So, say I have my 30 rounds. After my 30 rounds are expelled, bolt will lock to the rear, as such, by design. Just like the M1 Garand. I depress my magazine release, right there, pull out my magazine, insert my next magazine, make sure it's in, allow the bolt forward, and I'm shooting in the same exact way. Obviously, a little bit faster, 30 rounds versus this, because this was a little bit more cumbersome as far as like, it was just harder to do. You guys had to worry about their thumb getting caught in that in the bolt. One very pretty sight. You can have some mashed up thumb, that kind of thing. But guys, that's the whole idea, is innovation over over the course of history, you go from the Model T up to now, and ergonomics have changed obviously for the better, because even a Gatorade bottle has ergonomics, in mind when they design it. They make it so that it is, more intuitive design, right? And it functions better for the user. Same with the AR-15. He doesn't have to worry about his thumb getting caught in there. Puts his magazine through the bottom, so he can hold one hand on the gun just like this. Frees up his other hand for the magazine. Okay, he's back to shooting again, right? So, now this design has pretty much been around since the 60s. Okay, so I've showed you that basically it works the exact same way as far as one pull of the trigger equals one bullet. The magazine maybe is a little bit faster, but you're going to have that over time. Okay, what about the rest of it? It just looks like so much more intimidating, right? Well, guys, the whole idea was it's supposed to be light. It's cars, and they've gotten lighter and safer over time, right? Well, it's what they've done with this gun, lighter and safer. Don't have to worry about this guy getting cut off and stuff like that. So, well, what's this whole thing? What's this whole contraption, right? It's a collapsible stock. Purely all it is. It's, here's some dude with real short arms, like little T-Rex arms. Bring it close like that, right? Some like dude with big orangutan arms, or just me, 6'3", just longer arms in general. You'll have your stock extended more, which this adjusts what's called the length of pull, which for different length arms and different style. Everybody has their own style, right? Same thing for this gun. So you can adjust it for 6 different positions to adjust it for your arm. The pistol grip purely is because obviously you see the the whole gun here was designed different. Well, it has to be held on a certain way. So the whole idea with the gun was to keep the stock in line with the barrel, so that the force as it was generated from the bullet shooting out, the force is going straight back into your shoulder instead of like trying to turn the gun one way or another. So on your standard gun, normally you would just be able to hold your hand around and the trigger was right there. Well, this allows much quicker turning and stuff like that, and you can change this out for different size hands, or you got little infant hands or big old gorilla hands or whatever. So that's all that is. Now this always looks so scary and whatnot, right? Intimidating. Well, you'll see this is a Picatinny rail. It's a standard mounting system to put like flashlights, lasers, scopes, all kinds of different accessories on. Now typically you'll see like this on all 4 sides, left, right, top, and bottom. Now this hand grip is just more comfortable for me. All this is a heat shield. Underneath, you have a very hot barrel and gas system. So you need to shield the user's hands, right? That's all that is. Now this is what's called a foregrip. It's usually used on like full auto, real assault rifles, because it'll help prevent muzzle rise. I just put it on there because everybody has a different way of holding a gun, and what works for them and what's comfortable for them. So I put it on there for. You'll see a bayonet lug, which is of no use, and a compensator. You'll hear a device that looks just like this called a couple different things. You have a muzzle brake, flash suppressor, or a compensator. What are they? What's the difference? A muzzle brake is designed for to prevent the to decrease the felt recoil of the gun as it jams back in your your shoulder. It basically slows down gases as they're expanding out through the barrel. Prevents muzzle rise, things like that. Okay, and on a gun like this, it's just primarily there for looks. If it was just a muzzle brake, then you have a flash suppressor. A rifle will make a distinct, flash. The fireball comes out of it when you're shooting it at night. It's very easily detected, right? So a flash suppressor does exactly what it sounds like. It suppresses that signature. So a guy doesn't want to be like shooting, like, oh, here I am. So that tones down that flash, and also, excuse me. Now we'll go into the compensator. The compensator basically combines the best of both worlds, flash suppressor and muzzle brake, all into one unit. Doesn't make it any more lethal or anything. No, it's just looks. And like I said, guys, the M1 or the AR-15 shoots a smaller round, and less effective round. Still very accurate. You can change targets quick, but you can do the same thing with the M1 Grand. You've taken that whole full auto, factor out of this thing. It's not an assault rifle. It's just what they call an assault weapon now, and it's just based on looks. And guys, these bands that they're talking about doesn't just take away the AR-15, and I haven't talked about the AK-47, but they go after certain characteristics, and that's a detachable magazine, a adjustable stock, pistol grip, your bayonet lug, a threaded barrel, because this barrel is threaded so that it accepts this compensator. You're limiting these things, right? So, anyways, I hope I've kind of gone over the operating characteristics pretty good. We'll go over one more thing, I guess, because people are gonna, be like, well, yeah, but it's, it's made for fast reloads, things like that. I'll kind of debunk that right here. I'm gonna, I'll do a slower version, then I'll speed it up a little bit. Okay. So the bolt is locked to the rear. Magazine is in. Shoot my 30 rounds. After that last round ejects, the bolt will lock to the rear. Pull my magazine out, and okay, so right, I showed you that before. I'll speed it up a little bit without all the talking. Shooting again, right? Okay, fairly quick. Here is a 5-round capacity, compact 45 auto. I'm going to use a 7-round magazine. It's empty, so I showed you that was empty there. Okay, so same thing. My first round, I'll rack the bolt back, allow it forward. As I do, I can shoot my 5, 7 rounds, whatever. After that last round is expelled, bolt will lock to the rear, just like on both the other guns. There's a magazine release here or here. You drop it out, next magazine's in. See how quick that was? Basically, after my new magazine was in, I racked it back and allowed it forward. So, and we'll speed it up. Okay. Magazine is empty. Magazine's out. And see how I was just looking at the screen that time. I wasn't even, paying attention. I did it that fast. So, one more time. Magazine's out. Magazine's in. Shooting. Compact. So, in my next video, I'll kind of get into the magazine capacity, how it doesn't really change anything. How it doesn't matter if you have 5 rounds or 30, because we're always talking about these massacre kind of situations. And I'll just show you how the magazine capacity is there for the home defense. And so I encourage you to watch my next video. I hope you enjoyed this one, and like I said, Um, you know, I encourage everyone to, ask a friend to go shooting and, try a safety course, something like that. So, thanks for watching, and that's it for part 1.